Hi, this is Bruce McCollum, and it's nice to be able to take a few moments to give you 3 things that help me to succeed in running group living or assisted living programs. Today I sit as the head of Direct Care Training and Resource Center, which you can find on the web at www.directcaretraining.com. And so it is my pleasure to assist persons from all over the world in the development of competent assisted living programs on different levels. And so I'm happy today to share with you some of the things that went into my success as an operator of a group living program. Now, as I speak, you likely have been taken away from a photo of me to one of the exterior of the Friendly Villa, a program I managed for seniors in the 1990s. The next photo is likely the dining room of the Friendly Villa, which I personally decorated back in 1995 and I was always proud of. Now, I know the term assisted living gets thrown around a lot, and that's understandable. After all, it really is a marketing term. It has reference to programs where people who are typically not related, who receive help in the activities of daily life, from ambulation to eating to medication management. These programs can span the range of large, which encompasses hundreds of people, and of course the small community-based programs housing and assisting as few as 6 persons. Now, in the presentation, I want to give you 3 items that I believe will assist you in the development of a comprehensive yet manageable and effective program. Now, those 3 things are designing a workable program, 2, responding to the needs of your community, and 3, ensuring proper capitalization. Now, in the manual, or as often referred, the Business Development Kit on Group Living that I personally authored, I give you significantly more items that you want to make sure you give ample attention to in order for your program to be a success, including selecting the right business partner, how to identify the appropriate reimbursement sources, how to conduct the appropriate and most effective assessments on prospective residents, and more. But for this brief presentation, which is basically an overview as you either begin to develop or diversify your existing program, I think you'll benefit from these. So let's get started. Number 1, designing a workable program. Now, designing a workable program is everything. After all, if what you design is not workable, you will not satisfy residents or their families or referral sources over the long haul. Now, what do I mean by workable? I mean a program that you can effectively and efficiently supervise based upon your own experience and ability. This means you must have a keen interest in whom you plan to serve. This is true even if you are already in business and plan to diversify your population. So you must be comfortable with this new population and have in place a structured mechanism to get the job done right. A workable program also has in place staff who are trained to get the job done correctly. So if you are serving a population with dementia, you need to train staff in communicating with dementia sufferers and serving their delicate needs, which might include incontinence and regular redirection. If you are serving those with behavioral issues or perhaps brittle diabetics, then you will need to gear your staff development around this population needs. This makes you workable. You may now be looking at a photo of the late Mr. Eugene Sanders, who lived in the Friendly Villa and who's standing there in the dining room back in 1995. Mr. Sanders was a behavioral issue in the sense that he often had to be reminded to respect the property and privacy of others, which you have to do while at the same time avoiding verbally abusing him. And he was a diabetic, so staff had to be trained in monitoring glucose levels throughout the day and administering his injections. My question for you, would my program have been workable for him if this training and staff preparation were not in place? Absolutely not. So we understand what I mean by workable. A program that has been designed and that is consistently managed to meet the needs of those it serves, regardless of how delicate, skilled, or intricate those needs might be. When you've accomplished that, your program is workable. Item 2 is responding to the needs of your community. Some programs are highly specialized, and they render programmatic services to those with developmental disabilities or persistent mental illness. You might be considering operating this kind of program. These programs are a wonderful asset to the community. However, as should be the case with any other business you enter, you must find out whether or not your community really needs the kind of program you plan to operate. In the manual, or as we refer to it, the Business Development Kit on Group Living, likely pictured on your screen now, I talk about this in great detail. You see, a saturation of one kind of program can end up causing great financial strain to many of them. Most often, the community can only accommodate so much. Now, this does not mean that yours cannot be superior and excel by outwitting many of the others. I have done that in business. But remember, to do that, you need to be an aggressive and a skilled marketer. So modesty, understanding your limitations, and of course honesty, being willing to acknowledge where your limitations are in the business spectrum, is important for you in this regard. One thing you can do, my friends, is look for a niche. Now, while I was in the assisted living business, I charged about $2,200 per month per resident. Numerous larger, fancier assisted living programs around at that time were charging $5,000 a month or more. I operated in the western suburbs of Detroit, Michigan, but I drove down to Cleveland, Ohio, and other places to examine other programs, and I learned that they were charging significantly more. So my niche was obvious. My program was one that could focus on the delicate needs of the elderly, while at the same time those who could not afford to pay that $5,000 a month. So there was a group in the middle that was being completely ignored. They didn't need skilled nursing and to be bankrupting the Medicaid rolls in a skilled nursing center. They needed to be out in the community, but in a community-based assisted living program that their income could accommodate. So that's what I developed, and it kept the friendly villa full. I also learned how to study the demographics in my general area so as to know whom to appeal to. I knew how many persons in a certain age group lived in the 5 or 6 or 10 zip codes surrounding my home. I also knew that people in that age group tend to support their peers, so that generated more referrals for me, and I kept in touch with them. You can use websites such as www.usadata.com and others, but you want to be a demographic-oriented marketer, which will help you. And in that business development kit that I'm sure you're going to order as soon as we get to the bottom of this brief presentation, I talk about that in remarkable detail. Now, number 3 in our brief presentation today is the issue of being properly capitalized when you get into business. I'm a big believer in going out of your way to try to manage your stress in business. Proper capitalization in a new or expanding business is absolutely crucial. Having enough money to weather your growth phase. It takes time, even with the best crafted marketing and business plans, to get your income to match your operating expenses. Depending upon the business model, having a year's worth of capital in the bank is a real plus and will allow you to focus on creative marketing and networking without having to be bogged down with so many money matters. Now, of course, as long as you're in business, you've got to watch the budget, and so you're going not to be bogged down, but you're certainly going to be concerned with income and expenses. But I'm talking about the undue stress that can very often be associated with poor planning that you want to avoid. So if your minimum staff requirements are $5,500 per month and building costs are $2,500, having $100,000 on hand is a real necessity. Now, many have made it without it, but their comfort levels would not be the same as yours. In addition to that, you will want to fall in line with a working budget so you get things right and avoid overspending, and you must also avoid impulse spending. In the business development kit, which I'm sure is on your screen right now, I talk about some real strategies that can help you keep this area of the business on track. Now, there is so much to ensure you have in place, including how to structure your activities program, how to pursue reimbursements from the Veterans Administration, understanding long-term care insurance and how it can benefit your business, and more. I talk about all of that in the kit, and you can stop, of course, right now and obtain it. And you can always contact me directly and enroll in our mentoring program, wherein you can sit through 2 webinars per month specifically designed to keep you on track in your business efforts in group living. And by the way, you get the first month free once you purchase the kit. And after that, we're talking about $97 per month for some evenings, 2 evenings a month. You sit in front of your computer and you benefit from a webinar where we discuss specific items that have a direct impact on what you need to be doing to make your group living, your assisted living program thrive. My email is bruce@brucewmccollum.com, BRUCE@BRUCEWMCCOLLUM.com. Feel free to keep in touch with me, and for now, I wish you nothing but success in your group living business, and I'll see you on the mountain that we all label as success.